I'm joined by Angie and Dave. Hope you're all having a fantastic night. So bloody good to see you in 2023. Angie and Dave, how good to be back.
Oh, so good.
It's great. We've had a fantastic break, and I know I was champing at the bit to get back into work in my last sort of half week or so of holidays. And as soon as we got into the office, I could feel exactly the same from everybody else in the team as well.
Yeah. You and I caught up with you, as all of you know, me and Dave have a couple of cheekies every now and then, cheeky catch-ups on the little holidays. And I think you said to me there after a couple of beers, you're like, I've been walking around the house the last couple of days, just bloody kicking the floor, wondering what I'm going to do. I'm ready to go back in the office. So let's get into it. I said, well, that'll be next week, brother. Don't you worry about that. Yeah. Angie, did you have a fantastic break?
Oh, incredible. It was such a good opportunity to, reset, refresh. We all caught up, which is awesome.
Yes, you did. Yes.
So good to be in the swing of things now, which is awesome.
So full transparency for all the listeners out there, we've been back in the office for 3 full weeks. Well, this is we've done 3 full weeks.
Yeah.
So we've been going left, right, and center. And Dave, I'd love to explore with you tonight. So sort of some of the trends we got seeing at the moment as far as land availability goes, land registration, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah. Angie, I know you've had an amazing start to the year in so many different facets that I'd love to unpack and sort of share with you as well. But look, this is how it works, ladies and gents. We're here for you. This is a live Q&A. I don't have any notes. Everything comes from here and here and here. Don't ask a question you don't want to know the answer to, because out she comes. I can see my lovely wife who's upstairs literally above my head about 3 meters. Fuck, I hope the bloody floor doesn't give way. And I said, are you going to be listening in tonight, honey? She goes, I might be. Why is that? I'm like, I'm just fucking trying to work out how rogue I can go without you knowing about it. But I can already see she's in the house. So go ahead and use the chat box and basically send through all your questions. Any questions you want to know. We're talking about joining the military, transitioning from the military, being a veteran, owning a business, anything about property, whatever you want. Tenancy, it's a bit of a free for all. And I guess it's a real little opportunity for you guys to get a bit of a behind the scenes access to Axon as well. What actually goes on in the crazy little world. So what have we got in there? Sammy TW's in the house. Amana's there. Shania's here. Tammy's here. Benny Hinson's in the place. Benny, can I say quickly? And both of you were there, I believe. It was fucking great to see you in person on the Gold Coast during the Christmas break, mate. It was really, really good. And I'm just thinking, you weren't able to make it, were you?
No, I was so sad that I couldn't make it, but heard all about it, and the team was so stoked to catch up with them.
Considering, Dave, you and I have been on many of these, Betty would be, I reckon, the all-time record holder for that many entries into the chat over the last few years. And it was so good to see the great man in person.
Yeah, it's funny that we can have people in our world, in the Axon world, in the online space for such a long period of time, over multiple properties as well, and we never get the opportunity at times to catch up to them face to face. And same for Ben and Beck. They've been in our space for quite a while, and it was only just a few weeks ago. It was bloody fantastic.
Yeah, it's funny. At least Ben, you weren't like some of the other people that see me for the first time. They're like, you're not as tall as I thought you were going to be. I'm like, thanks, bro. That's fucking great to see you too. But yeah, look, what a great opportunity over the Christmas and New Year break to sort of reflect, refresh, visualize how the year's going to go. And as I saw Tammy placed in there, like, we've only been back in the office for 3 weeks. We've achieved so much already. I mean, today's only Wednesday, and we've had such a big week. Actually, I'll put it up front. Noah, can you just chuck in my little OODA loop link? I did a Robbie's OODA loop, the first one for the year. And one of the things that I've loved so much about this year so far is that we've recruited 3 more people. We've been back 3 weeks, and 3 new people have joined us. So, even though having people leave the business can become a little bit of an emotional churn, but the fresh energy and the fresh vibe and the fresh ideas and the fresh levels of gratitude that comes with new people is like infectious. Angie, you've got, you get to see it sort of firsthand here. And to be fair, you've worked in a civilian organisation longer than Dave and I. Yeah. You know the people coming and going, especially at the end of the year, it's an absolute normal thing to happen. But what are your thoughts when we have new people walk in the door, and you've got the business as a whole, you as one of our senior leaders goes through that form, storm, norm, or form team dynamics?
Oh, it's amazing. And it's so good because it's fresh sets of eyes. If we're doing the day in, day out, type of thing, and then new people come in, they're able to see it from a different perspective as well. So we're always open to, new ideas. And what I really love too throughout our interview process, the biggest thing for us is, are they the right culture fit? Like,
Yes.
Are they the right people for Axon, for our clients? Do they have that level of care? What are their values? It's, often we find out what type of, person they are before we even are properly looking at what skill sets they have, which is obviously very important too. But
yeah, that is so important. And just by virtue of the fact that the main people that we work with are our ADF, current serving and discharged veterans, we are, and they are, a unique set of characters. And to have people come in from the civilian world, especially for some of our positions in Axon, to have them come into the company and to have that culture or a similar culture, or to fit in with that culture is so good. It does take a while. I know that Tammy does work, and the rest of you guys work with our agencies there to recruit people, and we just look at some people and they just get ticked off, not because they're a bad person, just because they don't fit the mold or the sort of thing that we're looking for. But when we do find them, and we find the good ones, we bloody hold on tight.
Yeah, well, current example is you, mate. You've been with us for a long time now. I mean, shit, you and I, Axon turns 6, ladies and gentlemen. We turn, I think it's a February, I don't even know my baby's own birthday. I apologise. Please remind me, Angie. So it's in the 20s of this month, 24th or 27th of February or something. We turned 6 years old. But Dave, you and I were working together for 2.5, 3 years almost before that. So you and I have got a lot of indoor cricket seasons under our belt as far as, having people come and go, mate. So
yeah, exactly.
I've loved your loyalty over the years. And like you've said to me many times on the piss, I'm like, I fucking love you, man. I'm not going anywhere. I'm like, good. That's the same for me. Comes back with GST. Hey, we've got our first question for the year. Fantastic. Darren Ponte, thank you so much. Hopefully you may or may not be a relationship to Ricky. Oh, that's Ricky Ponting. Not even fucking close. Sorry, mate. Is it a bad time to borrow money with the interest rates going up? That's an excellent question. Dave, interested in your thoughts on this one before I absolutely provide some responses.
Yeah, it's something that we've actually had conversations with in the office recently, just like myself and James, Damon and myself, and even with you, Robbie. When people are not exposed to the property space, or they're only exposed for a short period of time, they've only seen interest rates from a low point going up to a higher point. I've been investing in property since 2007, and my interest rate back then was 8%. And I, as a bloody lowly corporal on $50,000 then, was able to secure property at an 8% interest rate. To be fair, the purchase price was a lot lower than the properties we see now, so I wasn't borrowing as much, so it was actually reasonably okay for me to do that. So I've actually been able to see interest rates go from 8.5% all the way down. They came down reasonably quickly after that period as well, because I obviously went through GFC at that time. And then we did get the benefit of having quite a long period of very low interest rates. Now they're up 5.5% for the most part. And if you do have higher than that, let it go and see your bank straight away and tell them you want a review. But at this point in time, I would say absolutely no. If you have the ability and the bank assesses you as being able to service a loan at this point in time, because they're going to put their markup on top of those interest rates as well. They're not just going to go, oh, yep, you can do 5.5%, you're good to go. They're going to add another couple of percent on top of that and say, right, we're going to assess you at 7%, 7.5%. If you service a loan at that rate, then if the bank is saying yes, then it's a big thumbs up. You should feel quite comfortable doing it yourself as well.
Yeah, it's almost, what else are you going to do? If you're trying to secure your financial future, as the saying goes, I didn't make this up, probably a Warren Buffett saying or something similar, nobody ever got rich without getting into good debt. So you've
Another
got
one there as well.
Stage. Say again, Dave.
Sorry, mate. Another one there as well is that you can't save your way to wealth.
Correct. So it's like, what else are you going to do? What, are you going to take a punt on the share market these days? Fucking Elon Musk or bloody Vladimir Putin farts the wrong way, and the bloody global share market goes up and down. You know what I mean? So it's you're not in control of the share market. That, like, imagine if house prices were as volatile as the share market.
Yeah.
Every morning, Koshi or whoever you listen to, bloody jumps online and says what's going on with the share market. I'm like, thank fuck the property market's not like that. So it's like, what, you know, I guess the question is, Darren, and I don't know you personally. This is like, don't ask a question you don't want to know the answer to. We're going to give you balls and all, like what the answer is. You've got no choice, mate. If you've got an opportunity to buy an asset, and as Dave quite rightly says, the banks give you the thumbs up, even though they apply a 2.5 or 3% buffer on the loan. So the interest rate for owner occupied 4.5, 5.5 for investment. They're actually saying, what if interest rates were 7.5%? Could you service the loan then? So what, Dave, what you've put forward is really good, because you know, it's no good waiting. Like, the interest rates, I think, are going to continue to go up until the middle of the year, and then they'll sort of stabilize a little bit more. And as soon as they start to come down a little bit, you fucking watch the rush for people to go, I need to buy a property now. It's like grabbing your surfboard from the car when the waves are already hitting the shore. You've got to have a surfboard sitting there in the sand that you can grab quickly and run out there and bloody jump on it. So, you know, Lukey boy, I see over your left shoulder there, Angie, a beautiful photo of you and your amazing husband, Luke. He loves surfing, so I thought I'd bloody rip in that little surfing analogy for you. I mean, Angie, you've been in the property real estate game longer than Dave and I.
Yeah.
So you also have seen the perspective of of time as far as interest rates and stuff go. Well, you don't necessarily operate in this space a lot. I'd love to hear your thoughts as well on the current state of the market.
Well, Luke and I actually bought our first home when we were 18. So we saved up, and the deposits and everything were, you know, a lot less back then. But we saved up through high school. And when we were 18, the interest rates then were about 9%. So I've definitely seen, the different times with the different interest rates. But one of the advantages too is with properties going up over time, it's all about swings and roundabouts. And I love what you both said too, is the bank will tell you if you can't do it. Like, they will put all the steps in place to make sure that you can afford it, and they have that buffer. And, so it's important about doing the research before. But it's also about, when times change, it's how you spend your money as well. Like, it's not, when the interest rates are a little bit higher, you might go out for dinner a little bit less, or you might do but then when interest rates are low, everyone's living it up. So, and same with Robbie, rental prices. So that's something that we've seen, like, even though the interest rates are going up, we've seen over the last, 12 to 24 months, insane rental prices increasing as well. So it's definitely looking like it's stabilizing a bit now. But
yeah, definitely. Yeah, for sure. Dave, you're spot on there. People that have only been in the market for a short period of time have a very skewed perception of what cash flow and financial structure of your portfolio should look like. For those that were listening to Luke and I, but if you're wondering where Luke is, by the way, he's only just come back from an extended period of leave, so I didn't want to overwhelm him, and he's actually coaching a client right now. So, get cracking with that. Luke and I spoke about 3 very simple things that you can put in place as far as managing cash flow goes. And we do have a masterclass with Debbie, the amazing mortgage broker, coming up soon as well. Here it is. If you can revert back to interest only to basically sort of manage your cash flow a fair bit there and not having to pay an extra $800 or $900 a month on the loan straight away, do that. You should be putting all of your money into an offset account, because your interest rate's at 5.5%. You've got guaranteed savings of interest that you're paying every day at 5.5%. Guaranteed. That's what an offset does. And then the other thing would be, like, talk to your accountant about putting a PAYG variation order in place. If you're going to get $8,000, $9,000, $10,000 back in your tax return, Simo, no doubt some of the property packs you're doing at the moment are getting $10,000 or $11,000 back in the tax return.
Yep.
It's $200 a week. Why have to carry that $11,000 loss throughout the year, whereby you can be drip fed some of your tax return throughout the year? Where does that money go? In your offset account. What does that do? Stop you paying interest. It's like it's a triple triple positive whammy there. So now that's 3 little tips we can pass on straight away. You know, I'm not providing financial advice here. This is about layman's terms, strategy and structure about how to manage cash flow when you've come off 2.5%. Now it's a 5.5%. So it's really important that you get that under your belt. All right, let's take a quick little break on that stuff for a second. Benny Hinton says, really great OODA loop today, mate. So good to listen to. Ben, if you're still there, brother, which I'm sure you are, I'd love for you to share what part of the OODA loop did you like the most. Thank you so much, mate, for that. Brooke Turvey, hey, Brookie. Hey, guys, got a card in the mail today. Thanks, you guys, so much. Sweet, really touched. Mate, it's our pleasure. It's our, like, don't give it away. If you happen to get something else in the mail, don't give it away, because we like other people to have that little bit of a wow factor as well, mate. We do like to under promise and over deliver there. James from the Gold Coast is coming in. How are you? Have your money work for you in a property rather than sitting in a low interest savings account. Interest rates are only the variable on the decision making process. You don't that one alone scare you. With the right risk mitigation process is no brainer. Absolutely, mate. Good stuff. Darren,
I've got a question there, Robbie. That's a little bit earlier in the piece. We've gone past it.
Sorry.
Amana's put it in there. It looks like it's for someone else. She says that, yeah, that's it. I've had someone ask if they are entitled to access DHOAS if they have medically discharged. Can you please address this misconception, please?
Yeah.
The easy answer there is yes, absolutely. And the truth of the matter is that if you have medically discharged, it's actually, there are some changes to the DHOAS requirements that are actually more beneficial for people that have medically discharged. For example, the period at the start where you're just doing the 2 years now, it used to be 4 years, very much lower period of time there. If you'd served for 6 years, qualifying period, and then you'd have 4 years of subsidy. If you've medically discharged, they waive the qualifying period. So you would actually have 6 years of subsidy instead of just instead of just the 4, and a few other elements there as well. So short answer, yes, absolutely they can if they've medically discharged, and they've also got some extra benefits there as or some reduction of the requirements there as well.
Yeah, mate, I literally did another connection call about 45 minutes before I started this one. Young couple posted out in the Western Growth Corridor of Brisbane, as per one of the case studies, Southeast Queensland. He's only done 2 and a bit years in the military. I'm like, bro, guess what? You can now get access to your DHOAS. First time owners grant, $15,000 paid directly on the loan. HPAD's coming in about $11,000 after tax, and you start getting about $400 a month, depending on the exact loan amount on tier 1. Do you remember about 12 months ago, Simo? Yeah. Tier 3 was $400 a month. I'm like, don't fucking worry about your DHOAS. It's like $5,000 a year. The old tail doesn't wag the dog. Shit. I use that analogy on 2 separate coaching sessions, almost back to back. And the 2 females that were on the call, they're like, what does that mean? I'm like, the tail doesn't wag the dog. So I had to explain what that actually meant. So the analogy that I'm using there was chasing $5,000 a year for your DHOAS does not drive your macro strategy. $5,000 a year is the tail wagging the dog. Achieving financial freedom and actually getting to that point where you can secure your financial future, that's the dog. And if we can bolt on that Simo and Angie, that's our job as coaches and strategists. If we can bolt on getting the free money from the government and the ADF along the way, happy days. But you should focus on making more money than what you can save, or make more money than what you can actually get. So yeah, it's really, really important to have that under our belt. Brenton Arthur, you're in the house, mate. I know that your house is coming very close to completion. I know the first round of building inspections have been done. So yeah, really looking forward to yourself and Brenner being how was that fucking coaching session, Brenton and Brenner, being able to go out there and move into your own home, buddy. So yeah, congrats on getting that far. I've loved it. Benny Hinton saying the vulnerability you spoke about, the civilian employment factor. Okay, the revolving door you experience, being so open about your business and how you perceive it is really good for those on the outside looking in. You also kicked off this live with the same sentiments. Yeah, mate, it's just one of those things. I haven't listened to that live, to that OODA loop yet, so that's why I didn't even remember that I was talking about that stuff. So apologies. I guess you're just getting what's in my head and my heart there. So, mate, that thank you for your feedback on that. It does work out well. What are we going to talk about next? The 3 people that have joined us so far. So hopefully you guys saw on our social media things. Ange, do you like the way that we sort of do the footy jumper presentation bit?
I cracked. So Freddie and I were on site yesterday. We weren't in the office when that happened.
Right.
We watched that video and we cracked it up. Like, God, I love our team. And then we did it again today, which is awesome.
So we got Ryan. Sorry, Noah, I will come back to that one in a second. I haven't seen that. David, have you seen that one, James, from Royce? Oh, yes. Yes, there it is there. I'll come, Royce, stand by, buddy. I'll come back in a second. Look at that, me calling him Royce. I don't even know who it is. So Ryan's our new property coach. Amana that you've already seen on the chat here, those guys, that's the fourth married couple that we have in the business. Very, very unique circumstance we got here. So interestingly, so neither of you two on the call have got a married couple in the business, but it's almost like everyone else seems to have. But yeah, Ryan's a really experienced guy, did the better part of 10 years as a town planner, talking about development applications and approvals and just like deeper level technical stuff. So Ryan will be offended when I explain his absolute expertise of stuff, such as I don't operate in that space. Him and his wife built their first house with us down in Newcastle, loved it so much. And then, their circumstances down in Newcastle changed. They're now living up here in the Goldie, sold their place in Newcastle for a few $100,000, and now they put a massive deposit down in their own sort of home up here on the Goldie. So, I mean, you guys are seeing the transformation of people that were clients and now, come on and be Axon people. It just adds an extra element of helping people where the properties people buy, we know their future self are going to benefit from it, but whether we're still in their lives when they're fucking 50 years old, I don't know. But to actually see something tangible and to see people's lives improve so much based on the initial conversation they had with us literally gives me goosebumps. Like, it's love. Simo, you've been involved in dozens of these over the years.
Yeah, you and I as coaches and property specialists get to benefit a lot from that. And I guess now the build support, now that they're doing a lot of face-to-face conversations with the clients as well, Angie, that's a great element that you get to see as well. So where it used to be wholly and solely just the coaches and property specialists that spoke to clients, now a lot more of our team does. It's a lot more personable. And even just myself, in the last week or so, I've been speaking to some people who are on their second and third properties with Axon. And the comments from them as well, you guys have changed our lives. It has been so good. I would never imagine being able to do this on my own. The way that this has gone has just been fantastic. Just to see the joy in their faces, knowing that what they've done has helped them secure their financial futures, is so rewarding. It's why we get up every day.
But here's the thing, Angie, we've now changed our little system a little bit. You and the support member, you guys get to do the initial hot wash with the client after they finish the build. You've done a couple of those this year. Are they the clients just beaming at the end of it?
It's incredible because, like RT, you and I were doing them together, and Luke and I, and we were hearing this, so much amazing feedback about the build support team. We're like, man, they need to actually get on those end of build hot washes and talk to the clients. And it's a really good opportunity because we seek feedback. We're always looking at ways to improve. We look at what, originally, say, for example, if it's a rental property, how much was on their property pack versus how much they've actually achieved now, which is awesome.
Yes.
We absolutely love those calls. It's a really good opportunity to reconnect with the clients and celebrate too, the handover.
Oh, so good.
Yeah.
So we got Brenton. Brenton is on the call here, and I think there's for this quarter I have forecast Brenton and two other owner rocks that are going to build their home. So yeah, it's absolutely going to be a great opportunity to go out there and welcome them to their home. Like there's, here's the keys to your house that you've built with us, and people had no idea how to even get started when they sort of first come on. I want to go back to Reese's question. Royce, I should say. Royce and Reese, I've stuffed up your name, buddy. I apologise, but let me just sort of give you a bit of an answer there. We're not financial advisors. We're not financial planners. And you can download a budget off the internet on a spreadsheet very easily. Go to this thing called Google and just say, send me your fucking budget or something like that, right? But here's where the rubber hits the road, though. When people are just on a savings plan and they're sort of saving for something in the future sort of thing, and I'm being as vague as I can here for a reason, right? They never get there. People only achieve those things that are going to be checked by someone else, so you need an accountability buddy. And if you're not crystal clear or have laser-like focus on what the fuck you're saving for in the first place, how do you know how much you need to get started or if and when you even get there? So I guess, Royce, I won't fuck it up this time. Royce, my suggestion to you would be, buddy, go to our webpage. If not done already, watch all of our training videos about how to actually start and build a property portfolio, the imperative of doing something with your future. Noah will no doubt chuck the link in there about, so it's just like it's a no-brainer. Don't go right now because I've still got another 35 minutes of me jawing off with you. So do that afterwards and watch those videos, book a connection call with us. And then, you know, if we get the opportunity where, you know, you think we're half decent and you're a good dude as well, or dudette, however you roll, we'll put a plan together for you and you'll have a level of clarity of exactly how much you need to save. We'll know what the gateposts are that you need to be able to walk through them. I've got clients I met 2 years ago that haven't even bought their first property with us yet, and they're on a savings plan. And we check in with them every few months, and they fucking love it. They love us for it. They're probably like, oh, shit, I haven't saved as much as what I thought I was going to do. Dave's going to kick me in the ass.
Shania will. The accountability buddy, she said.
Shania is the absolute accountability buddy. So she executes it on behalf of the coaches and property specialists. So that's the thing, Royce. It makes zero difference to us, mate, whether you are ready to go right now with 100 grand in the bank or you've got not that much.
Yeah.
It's our job to provide you the clarity of where you need to get to, and we'll be there for you when you're ready. So hopefully that makes sense, mate. Dave, anything to add, buddy, please?
No, that's spot on. And like a lot of people actually have more money than what is required to get started. A lot of people sometimes think that they need a ton more than what they actually do. And it's quite surprising the number of people that come through or talk about it before they even go in to do the connection calls on like calls like this and saying, I've got $80,000. I thought I wasn't ready. What they don't realize is that we don't have to source land that is available right now, registered land right now to go straight away. We can do that plan where we secure a block of dirt that's going to register in 6 or 7 months. You still have time to continue savings during that period while you're waiting for your land to register as well. And then by having that accountability buddy there, Shania, on your case every month, checking in with you to make sure you're not it's too much, putting too much on the TAB, and to have someone there checking it, it's actually a good feeling. Some people like Shania, when she first started, was going, oh, I don't want to annoy people too much. They actually appreciate it. They actually appreciate the check-ins and the accountability and knowing that someone is there helping them get to the end point.
Well, it's on us. If people reach out to us and they want to be led and coached and guided and mentored, a mentor doesn't let you just flail away. It's like, hey, champ, fucking back over here. Remember what we spoke about? Boom, 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 boom. Get the old fucking, going on there. That's a instructional technique for the young recruits down at bloody Kapuka there, Angie, by the way. But it's just, and it's so good. We have all seen over the years what happens. Shit, even the success story I did last Friday, I can say Matt and Patina because they asked me to write their names anyway. They were not in a good financial position as disclosed to everybody when I first met them. But with a plan, with an accountability buddy, with dedication on their behalf and commitment, fuck me, they just finished building their first property and Deb's about to run the numbers for them about buying another one.
They've done so well.
It can absolutely be done. And I did a golf clap. I remember doing a golf clap on the OODA loop. Golf clap to all those people that find themselves in a self-assessed floundering position. With the right help and support, you'll get there at some stage. But it's sort of it's a bit of a joint effort there. I saw a little note down here. Brent and Arthur, the build support team, are fantastic, mate. Thank you so much for your feedback, dude. There's a C word that gets bandied around in our office a lot. It's not the one you're thinking about, even though it's got 4 letters. I'll give you a hint. It starts with C, and it's care. Angie, isn't it, mate? I know you love the opportunity of the level of care and the level of support without your team being dragged down into the emotional anguish of a delay, for instance. Yeah. We've got to be that strong, independent support person. but the level of empathy and the level of care and understanding is like through the roof, because you and the 3 other girls that work in the build support team, you have all built a house with Axon. They all know what it feels like. And I love the way you've been able to lead the team going forward there, mate. So, how does it make you feel as a leader of that organisation, of a ripper bloke like Brenton Arthur, to say the team in the build support are fantastic?
Mate, it's amazing. And it's a reflection on clients like Brenton. Like Caitlin and I hopped on a call with him the other night, and we both hopped off that call and we're chatting afterwards, and we're like, oh my God, he's so amazing. We can't wait for him and his partner to move into the property. We talked about his dog, and you actually build genuine relationships. It's not just people don't feel like clients. You really get to know everyone, and that care factor is everything, RT.
So good. I love it. And then even Caitlin's put it in. I had my first end of build hot wash this morning. It was great.
Oh, that was awesome.
Caitlin, would you mind tapping in there about what was great about it? Like, even though you're not on the screen here, you probably still got your Axon shirt on at home. I would love to. I don't know, like, what part of it made it great. So if you could share that with us, that'd be bloody awesome as well. Noah, thank you so much for sharing that link with Royce, which is brilliant. Shanghai, I bloody love you, mate. Thanks for being on here. Boom, boom, boom. I'm just scrolling through here. Fran said, I love how Axon is genuine about building the community's financial future. It's not just about buying houses. It's sure as shit is not just about buying houses. Let me tell this story, and I'll be as vague as I can, but it's a very poignant story as well. Someone I caught up with over the Christmas period, we were just talking about, when you finish that property, when you finish that property, it'll be an opportunity for sort of, us to get together, and I'll just, you'll do the hot wash with Ange, and then you'll be put into my calendar, and we'll snapshot everything, and we'll put a plan for the future and whatever that future is going to hold. And this couple was saying, like, oh, look, we don't think we're really ready to buy another property yet. I'm like, doesn't matter. That's not the point of the hot wash planning session. The point is, so you've got clarity around what your current position is, and we plan for the future. Just like when you first met us, as Dave rightly points out, it's not about buying a property straight away, because, especially back then, there wasn't a land available for 12 months. It's about putting a plan in for the future. Yeah. And I guess, the feedback I got from that individual saying that they felt really great that I wasn't just trying to jam another property down their throat. To your point, Fran, it's never about that. We say no to just as many people as what we say yes to if people are not the right fit for us. And certainly it's never about, you can have all the intent in the world, but if the numbers don't stack up, you're not going to buy a property. But if you don't have the intent in the first place, why even fucking bother exploring it? So it's really, really important. And I wave that flag hard to make sure that every conversation that anyone with an Axon shirt has is that the client's best interests are the only thing that matters. Yeah. So, it was just really, really great to know that my instinctual and natural and authentic response to them resonated, because it's not about buying another property. It's about everything else that goes with it. Because there's this crazy thing we're all living called life, and shit changes all the time. And we need to be able to bank for it, bank for it. So, yeah.
And RT, you often will really get to know the clients and understand what their needs are. Like, I've been on calls with you before where you're like, okay, have a breather, go on that family holiday that you've been dreaming of. Like, you really talk about not just, financial goals and what the next step is, but also about like what their personal plan is with their family. And amazing.
We've only got one set of clients that has been decisively engaged in building a house with us continuously for the last 4.5 years. And they're just about to start building their fourth. So, I use that military term, decisively engaged, because that means you are doing nothing but that. But Angie, you're absolutely right. People should take a tactical pause and go, all right, we just built 1 or 2 houses. Let's go do shit. Let's not have to worry about paying interest on the loan. Let's not have to worry about the building inspection. Let's have to have that in the back channel whilst the build support team are in the trenches building the houses and providing that supervision. Of course, it's in the back of one's mind as it's occurring. Go take a break. Go do whatever you need to do, and then obviously you come back and plan for the future. So that's always going to be there. Trish Tillard has got a comment. We've just started a review of all of our finances so we can come to you with all the info. Perfect, Trish. Follow the bouncer ball, buddy. I'm unsure whether you've had a chance to watch our videos and then go ahead and book a connection call. Noah has placed in the chat there already how easy that is. If you just go to the link there, axonproperty.com.au, ADF members, and watch the video, book a connection call, Trish. And if you've already started if you've been proactive, buddy, and you've got stuff underway, that's amazing. Like, happy to help people in all forms, whether you're at, I'm literally coaching some clients. Let me tell you, on Monday night next week, and during the connection call, they're like, "Oh, hey, we saw in the training video there you need about $80,000 to get started." I'm like, "Yeah, that's to buy a $600,000 property. That's around about what you're going to need." They're like, "We got 200 grand in the bank. Does that mean we can buy two?" I'm like, "Well, theoretically, that's what the numbers mean, but let's do the coaching session first. I can't wave a magic wand and go, there you go, champ, go fucking buy two properties. That would be like a orthopedic surgeon trying to do a total knee replacement without doing an x-ray. Of course, we need to sit down, plan, course of action development, make sure it fits properly. And if you get a chance to go buy two, happy days. But if you don't, that's cool as well. So it all, it all comes in shapes and sizes. Sophie Warren, from memory, we had 8K. Go for it, Dave. You can read this one out. Very well.
Sophie and Joel there on exactly the opposite end of that spectrum. Instead of having a couple of $100,000 in the bank, they were starting at literally ground zero with only $8,000. And I love that. Now we've got two properties. Big smiley face emoji.
Yeah, so good. Hello, Soph. Hello, Joel. Hope you guys are doing amazing things. Caitlin has even slept in her Axon shirt.
Yes.
Hands up if you're guilty of that.
I honestly, I've not slept in it. I always have a shower, obviously. No.
I've definitely fallen asleep on the lounge in my Axon shirt. If that's what
sure. But I jump out of bed. I'm so keen to put the shirt on. I absolutely feel so proud to wear it.
Caitlin was saying,
as a young fella, I used to wear the clothes that I was going to wear the next day. I was so excited sometimes to get up and do stuff. If that counts.
So good.
No, mate.
We've got a comment from Deb there as well. The amazing Deb. She said it's amazing. Hi, team. Hello, Deb.
Oh, we love Deb. She's been coming in every Wednesday. Hasn't that been so good? She wears her beautiful new outfits every Wednesday, looking amazing. But it's been so good to have her in the office and seeing her face more.
Isn't it just an absolute joy, Dave, to have Deb come into the office and just bring her vibrance and bring her energy, and then we all get to sit with her for an hour and go through every single client's financial circumstances that's primarily in her lane, and just the knowledge and the expertise and the mentoring that she's providing us. So then when we're sitting down coming up with the plans for the clients, we can give her a 70-80% solution. It's just it's wonderful to be part of it, and I'm so glad that Deb takes the time out of her very busy schedule to sort of drive 40 minutes or so up to the Axon HQ and come and hang out. So
very grateful.
Thank you, Deb.
I can honestly say as well that I literally learn something new every time we have Deb in the office.
Easily.
Yeah, she's the best.
Absolutely.
So good. What do we got here? Caitlin said, talking to the client once the journey is finished and how we found it went much faster than he anticipated and how he's so happy to own his third house. How good. Just absolutely bloody brilliant. How the build went faster. You also had a few delays. Yep, of course there's a few delays. Trish is on song, mate. 4 out of 5, buddy. Fantastic. I look forward to seeing your connection call come through. So it'll be myself or one of the other property coaches that'll take care of you. Mickey Gallen's in the house. Fuck, I was going to ring you the other day, mate, when the builder rang me and said, hey, guess what stage we're up to? Loving how fast our build is happening. Can't wait for completion. Going to spoil ourselves and come down once complete. Please come down from Townsville, buddy, and come and say hi. I know that there was a lot of churn, and I know that you guys, we directed, encouraged. Director's probably not the right word. Anyway, I fucking told you you're going to change builders, and you. I upgraded that director then, didn't I? I fucking told. And you accepted my guidance on that point, and here you are now, mate, having a fantastic experience, and I'm so happy for you that you've got that under your belt, mate. So that is really, really good.
Definitely come down. We always love catching up.
For sure. Franny's Caitlin put her hand up. Franny's put her hand up as far as sleeping in the shirts there. And then Sammy Furness there as well. What else we want to talk about? Dave, are you in a position maybe to just give us a bit of a trend as far as land availability goes? Because thankfully it's starting to look a bit better.
Yeah. When we're in the middle of the COVID crisis, there was a lot of delays with materials. The first home builder grant had come out and was out for a period. That drove a lot of people who were potentially going to be sitting on the sidelines for the next 2 or 3 years into action. Without those grants and all the other grants that were available, taking action. However, when the first home builder grant came out, it was too good to give up for a lot of people. So that drove a ton of demand into the market around that 2020, 2021 period, which chewed up probably a good 5 or 6 years worth of land that was going to be developed over time. Developers saw it, they got greedy, they wanted to make money, so they started developing the quicker. Sorry, not developing the land quicker, which meant that they were releasing land up to 18 months away before it was due to register. Saw a long time period between those available lands. As we've gone through time and throughout 22, we to when the land is available for registration. And now as we kick off 2023, we're now seeing land that is registered, land that's only a couple of months away, and more so in the more attractive areas or the areas that are good investment locations, we're seeing land at about 6 or 8 months instead of 12 to 18 months away. Yes, people will be able to find land that is registered now, not for the most part, but what I sort of see is that land is in what we would determine sometimes less desirable locations for investment. And that's for the as many people want to buy there. The premium areas that are good investment locations, they do still have land that's not available straight away, and that's still extremely workable. Like, we don't need to rush into these sorts of things. The land is there, even though it's only still 6 months away. Then your EOI down, and once you've got your land secured with the executed land contract market, some people don't understand that fully, to know that if it's a 1,000, a 2, a 5,000, if it's a 5% deposit on a small amount of money, you are actually in the market and you are experiencing capital growth while waiting to as well. It's a much shorter time frame now.
Two things, Dave. I was just looking at my second screen because I'm going to pass on something in a minute, but I was also having a bit of a giggle. My mother, hello, Mum. Thank you so much for joining me again. I love it that you get to see me far more than I get to see you, because hopefully it just sort of crosses that bridge. I left home when I was 17, remember 33 years ago, as of bloody January the 23rd. So she said she's got land for sale, if that will help. And she's got a bit of a joke going on there because, yes, love you, Mum, but we are not buying in fucking bumfuck Idaho, 3 hours north of Adelaide. It was a fantastic place to grow up, but we're not putting our money back in there. What I was looking at my second screen here, remember I said, don't make a comment if you're not sure what the answer is going to be. What I was looking at my second screen over here is we've got 42 clients that did exactly as you did, Dave, exactly as you just explained. They've put an expression of interest in 9, 12, 15 months ago.
Yeah.
Some of the properties they're buying in this particular location, they've taken them off the market and they're like $630,000. Deb's getting the finance approved for properties that are coming to the market now. The valuations are $750,000.
Oh.
So there's a lazy $100,000 that they've got under their belt because they took a block off the market 18 months ago. And there's various reasons why that might be the case. Mum might need to go back to work after mat leave. They're going to go on a savings program, whatever it's going to be. Back in the day, it was like, old mate had to come back from deployment, whatever it's going to, so there's lots of circumstances there. Obviously, people need to wrap themselves in a series of cotton wool, though, to make sure that they can benefit from that. Don't start a business. Don't pop out another kid. Don't lose your job, whatever it's going to be, because that will negatively impact your ability to get your finance approved when the time comes, and that time is coming now. So, yes, it's been a bit of a wait, but it hasn't cost anyone a cent. You're not paying any interest on the loan. You've literally just bought time as the delayed gratification strategy, as we call it. But it's really, really beneficial for a lot of people to be able to do that. So that's a huge wave of clients about to settle on their blocks of land, 42 within the next couple of months.
Yeah,
just
over the last couple of months.
Yeah.
Sorry, mate, just over the last few months previous as well, we've already seen that flood starting to change. Especially in some of the more premium areas where they did have extremely long time frames.
We're in bloody Brisbane, Dave. Remember, we don't say the F word.
What do I say?
The flood.
What? Hey, and you know what? Trades are even becoming more available. There's so many things, like it's where everything's stabilizing, everything's a lot calmer. You know, often it's the calm before the storm, but I feel like it's the calm after the storm now.
Yeah.
Like,
It is.
Well, as long as we're not in the bloody eye of the cyclone.
Yeah.
I mean, another shit fight on the other side.
Some of you might be thinking, like, how the fuck does Ange know what's going on with trades? That great-looking man over your left shoulder there is your husband, of course, and he's the operations manager for one of the builders that we use. So I've no doubt you guys are, you know, because you're at Axon and he's a builder and he builds houses for Axon clients anyway, no doubt, as you know, there's a bit of shop talk going on every now and then. And I find it really insightful, Ange. I've come to you many, many times over the last 18 months or so. You've also almost that you've been with us. I'm like, hey, what's Luke talking about here? Like, give me the goss, give me the back channel info about what's going on with the trades. It's handy for us, isn't it, Dave, to know the dynamics about what's going on there.
And not only that, RT, like it's something you guys touched on with how you sit down with Deb each week. And we've got that holistic approach with the build support team too. So Robbie, you and I sit down every week and we go through every single property with, you know, Caitlin, Fran, Amana. We talk about what's happening from, you know, the start of construction all through till handover. So we're seeing every day sort of what's happening and we're seeing the changes and it's pretty cool.
I took the liberty to Lockie and Cody, who I'm going to sit down and coach tomorrow. They've got about 150 grand in the first property of equity that they built with us. And they're like, let's fucking roll in the number 2. They're like, let's buy as many houses as we can before we start having a family. I'm like, I support that plan. For a guy who's old enough to be your dad, when you blink your eyes 3 times and you'll be 50 years old as well, you'll be lucky you made that call also, right? I'm not a family planner, but I'm just letting you know that try and, build your portfolio before the little Billy lids start kicking around. I took the liberty of showing them, because obviously I've been through the process. So like, they just can't believe how smooth it was and nothing was missed. You're on point with everything. And I'm like, let me show you. So I removed all the names from Active Campaign and I took them through all the steps of the process. And they're like, holy fuck, we had no idea. They didn't say holy fuck exactly, but that's what I was looking at their faces. They're like, we cannot believe how detailed the back end project management, internal project management, when we're supervising the builds, like just to make sure, mate, you can see why there's nothing gets missed, mate, because there's like 85 steps in your lane, Dave. There's another 70, 80 steps or whatever it is in your lane, Ange. Plus then you've got the ongoing client management, your relationship manager hat on.
Yes, yeah.
Like there's a reason why people enjoy the experience and they can go and live their life knowing full well that Axon's got their back.
Yeah, and we're not just in the office too. Like there's things like I mentioned yesterday, Freddie and I were on site. We caught up with amazing referral partners this week. So we had lunch with one of the rental managers that we work with. We caught up with Nigel, who does building inspecting yesterday. So we're just, constantly, like you said, it's about those relationships that we have with other people as well.
I just had a thought. Let's put this as I feel like I'm in a work meeting now. We should get Nigel on here to do a masterclass.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
How was he when you saw him out on site, Ange? Is he happy, bubbly, loves having a chat, super knowledgeable, all that stuff?
Absolutely. Yeah. He's an absolute legend. Actually, when we went to Sydney for the awards, we were lucky enough to randomly sit next to Nigel and Erica. We got to know them more so on a personal level there. But just, Nigel is so passionate. He cares. He's so knowledgeable. And he has, there's random questions that we're constantly asking him. And the great thing is, because he works with so many different builders, he's out and looking at properties on the daily. He really seems to have all the answers to the questions for us. So, it's so good.
What I love most about Nigel is that he's used to be a builder himself. He's out of that game now. And he, as a guy probably in his 50s as well, I'll probably be in kind there at least. He loves going out there and going through the places like a dose of salts, but he's like the RSM, Simo, coming to visit the unit. He's mentoring the young corporals and the young sergeants, the young site supervisors about how to do shit properly. And I know that he absolutely loves, his level of care is through the bloody roof as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And he really works for the clients too. So it's that peace of mind that as a third party, he's looking out, for the client's best interest, which is always high priority.
Megan Maguire, we do have a long one here. All right. So, Dave, do you want to have a go at reading that one out, please?
Yeah. I don't have my specs on, but here we go. That's all right. I have people telling me that I am contributing to higher house prices and make it impossible for others to get out of rentals by buying investment properties. And I know this, but I thought that if I had a lot of investment properties, not just the one or two I am aiming for, I always tell them that I'm comfortable with Axon and happy with what I'm doing, even if I haven't yet secured my first property. So what is your opinion? Is it bad to continually buy houses? Is it okay to secure just one or two investment properties without affecting those who are in rentals?
Wow.
Do you want to take the first crack?
No, you can.
I'll go.
I just want to make a comment. That is one of the best posts and comments that we have received, Megan. Thank you so much for putting the thought and effort into that. That's a belter of it.
Yeah, it is something that I've seen in the media and around different spaces, and my wife and I, Kira, talk about that sometimes as well, in terms of like property moguls or slumlords. Sometimes when they go and convert houses into like living spaces within the houses, that's terrible. But at the same point in time, if we weren't buying investment properties to rent, so there does have to be a certain amount of people buying investment properties. And to be honest, you'd be quite surprised at how few people within the population are buying investment properties. It's quite a small percentage, something around like the 30% mark for people that only have one. And then it's only a very small portion that have more, like 2, 3, or 4. It's only then up like the 5% of people, 1% of people that have 3 or more. So for the most people that only have the 1 or 2 investment properties, providing those houses for people to rent, I have absolutely no issue with that. Even for people that are buying 6, 7, 8, or 9 or 10 properties, that is an extremely small percentage of the population that are and can do that. And as long as they're not buying really horrible houses, they're not fixing up and they're not making, I don't have an issue with that as well, because they are providing the houses for people to rent. If that wasn't happening, then it would be on the government, and it'd all be government housing. And I don't want to have a state or federal scheme which everybody goes and lives in, except for the people living in their own properties. Leave it with the people, the general population. Have all the regulations as are in place by like the RTA and the like. Angie, that's your space, and have it that way, as opposed to a government-run system of housing. Otherwise, not everyone can afford to or wants to buy their own house as well.
And owners are tenants as well, Dave and Robbie. Like, as we know, it might be if you relocate to a different state, you might have a rental property, but then you may also be a tenant paying somebody else's mortgage as well. Exactly. Yeah. So, and we have clients all the time saying how good they feel about their happy tenants and how grateful their tenants are for them as well. Like to be in a beautiful new home, the opportunity to be able to live somewhere, especially with people relocating often. I think there's a lot of good that comes out of it.
Adage as well. For myself, I buy investment properties in superior investment locations. Other people buy investment properties in other locations. Right now, to buy a house where I'm living, I can afford to rent it, but I can't afford to buy one because it's bloody way up there. But that's the same sort of thing. Buy investment, good, long, and strong, sustained capital growth, and rent where you want to live, unless you can go ahead and get to the point in time in your wealth creation procedure or process where you then go and buy your own home, which is where I'm sort of starting to get to now as well. So
I might finish with a little Robbie rant here.
Good.
We love them.
Megan,
5.5 minutes.
I know. I'll try and take it all. No, I won't. I'll get to it reasonably quickly. I see people on TV all the time that jump in and they try and blame property investors for pushing up the prices of houses. It's a bit of a cop-out, really. I think they're using that as an excuse because they're jealous that they don't own an asset themselves, so they want to rubbish someone else for doing it. And here's the thing, buddy. Owner-occupied houses drive up the prices in an area. Owner-occupiers go to auctions and overbid for something because they've fallen in love for it and they don't give a fuck how much they pay. They just want the house. So it's therefore that drives up the median house price of that because owner-occupiers overpay for shit. Go down to Sydney and go to an auction. There's old like 1950 red brick houses built in the 1950s and they're bloody selling for $1.7 million because people want to live in fucking Marrickville or something, right? Not too far away from the city. So it's not investors that drive up the house prices, it's owner-occupiers. Because investors, we want to get a bargain. We're happy to pay fair and reasonable market price for whatever the property is. We're not there trying to raise up. We don't want to buy with our hearts. We want to buy with our calculators. So please enlighten said people, Megs that are in your life, trying to rubbish on you to secure your financial future by saying, oh, you're just contributing to the really high house prices. So that's the first bit, right? I don't know about the rest of us. Well, I do know about the rest of Australia, but here in Southeast Queensland, almost every other night, there's a story on the news, the local news or the national news, about another family that's living out the back of their car. There are so many people that cannot afford to buy their own home. They have got no fucking choice but to rent a property. If there were no property investors, where the fuck are they going to live? This is what I say to our clients, right? I don't want, especially when they're buying investment property, where there's no emotional attachment to it. The only emotional attachment to it is you're doing something for your financial future. I want you to love three things. I want you to love that you are doing something for your financial future. I want you to love the location that you're bought in because that's going to provide that sustained and low risk capital growth for you. And the third thing I want you to love is not the fucking color of the tiles or any other cosmetic shit. I want you to love the fact that you are putting the roof over a head of someone else that needs it. It's amazing feeling to be a landlord and to know that you are providing a roof over someone else's head and they are grateful for it. Angie, exactly to your point. Yeah. So please don't let these other people, Megs, get inside your head there. However it is you tell people to fuck off, go do that.
Send them this Facebook. Send them the link to this and be like, this is the answer.
The Megs has said it's so hard to navigate this by myself sometimes and have comments from people and family that I can't always answer straight up. So I appreciate the support. Well, if you're after a straight up answer, champion, you're in the fucking right place, let me tell you. So I'm not being a bully about it. I'm just letting you know it's not investors that drive up house prices. And if there were no investors, those people that are saying that to you probably rent. Go to them and say, look in the fucking mirror, champ, and say, where are you going to live if your landlord, those property investors, didn't decide to buy that house where all your shit is? Anyway, something like that. Thank you for the support, Deb. I love RT. Well said. That's it's yeah. And Trish Tillard said Sydney is crazy. Like, it is crazy, mate. It's bloody crazy. The good thing about having one of the other observations I have made, Dave, you and I have been involved in this for a long time, because interest rates have now come back to normal. The RA and the Marri quarter that the majority of you are now experiencing and enjoying has never been so valuable. I coached some clients the other day. They're living in Sydney. They're like paying $257 a week for a house in the fucking northwestern suburbs somewhere. And they're like, it'll be $1,000, but there's other houses for rent, $1,000 a week for houses in there. I'm like, so you're getting $750 a week effectively in your hand, because to live in that amazing suburb, you're paying $250 a week, not $1,000 a week. Yeah. Mason said, I can't explain that exactly to my family. Well, guess what, champion? If they've got Facebook, send this fucking link to them, get them to fast forward to the 55-minute mark and let them hear it from me. But yeah, you get the picture. So yeah, please value the shit out of your subsidized housing right now, because yeah, it's, isn't it, Simo, when you got to pay market rent, it's not real flash. And even though we have poor experiences with toll and DHA and we have a fucking whinge every now and then, I wish I had them back in my life now. Oh, yeah. It's so bloody expensive. Just a final point, Trish Tiller, where I live is predominantly government housing, and that's being sold off. Can't get anywhere under $1 million, mate.
Yeah.
Those things. Luckily, there are other areas across the country, including here in Southeast Queensland, where you can get an amazing house for like $600,000. Sometimes even a little bit, lower than that. Obviously, you've got to go a little bit smaller. There it is. 1 hour's up. Angie, how'd you enjoy that?
Oh, it was incredible. And apologies if you could hear my little pug in the background scratching around.
I could just hear this. Simo, thanks for joining us, brother. As always.
As always, enjoyed myself.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for everyone that just contributed to this. We'll be back. Let me just check whilst I've got you so you can chuck it in your calendar. On Thursday the 16th, we've got a masterclass with Deb. And if we're going to do it on Wednesday the 15th, I've got a coaching session, so I might not be able to join you for that one. But just keep your eyes peeled. There'll be more and more of these sessions. We'll try and do them every single fortnight. Don't forget, we've got Luke as the other property coach. We're blooding Ryan. He's going to come on board shortly. He's got a whole bunch of stuff to have come your way. I want you to get as much value as you can out of these sessions because we're here for you. Love yous all. It's a great, Jeff Fennick says. See you next time.
See you, friends.
Bye.